And Signage.
100%.
If he's going to memorialize it, great. But anyway, say it. I mean, I would say the same thing.
Not on me, but I got one for you. I got one for you. Oh, why? I'm not wearing mine. Bruce doesn't have his on. Disney World? No. No.
Did you?
But I did. I did do the hand slap.
Well,
He looked.
You were?
It's gone.
That's awesome.
my husband's so proud of me.
Here we go.
This time I'll call to order the November 7, 2024 meeting of the Clearwater City Council. If you wish to address the council tonight, please complete a comment card. Comment cards are located by the clerk seated to the right of the dais. When called to speak, please hand your card to the clerk. This time I'd ask for everyone to stand for the invocation to be given tonight by Pastor Steve Kreloff from Lakeside Community Chapel, and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Lord, we are so very grateful for the country that we live in. We're grateful for our government, and we pray that tonight, as the city council members hear issues, that you give them wisdom in making decisions, Lord. May they be of the same heart and mind, and we pray that as a result of the decisions that have been made tonight, that our community will be so much better, even better than it is. So thank you for these men and women who serve us. May you bless them for their service. We pray in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Kreloff. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This time I would like to introduce our dais for this evening. To my far left is our City Clerk, Rosemarie Call.
Good evening.
To her right is our City Attorney, David Margolis.
Good evening.
To his right is Councilmember Michael Menino.
Good evening.
And to my left is Vice Mayor David Albritton.
Good evening.
To my right is Councilmember Lena Teixeira.
Good evening.
To her right is Councilmember Ryan Cotton.
Hello.
To his right is our City Manager, Jennifer Poirier.
Good evening.
And to her right is Assistant City Manager Dan Slaughter. This time I would like to move to item 4.1 on the agenda, and that's our Citizens Academy graduation. I am happy to announce that the 22nd annual Citizens Academy class is graduating tonight. Each of these graduates have shown their commitment to the future of Clearwater by completing an intensive 10-week program that includes visit to many city facilities and departments. Because citizen involvement is critical and crucial to the future of Clearwater, this group is to be commended for their achievement and dedication. Many of our Citizens Academy graduates now serve in leadership positions within this community, including several of us, and I am sure that these graduates will do so as well. I offer my congratulations to each of you, and if you would please step forward as I call your name. Alicia Collins Andrews. Kimberly Crum.
Congratulations.
Mary Cummings.
Good job.
Clifford Larry Five.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Jorge Luis Godinez.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Patricia Kirby.
Good job.
Benjamin Clazer.
Congratulations.
Juta Cole.
Thank you. It's so exciting. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Karen Korobek.
Congratulations.
Tanya Landry.
Good job, Tom.
Rebecca Lenahan.
Congratulations.
Rudy Michaelik.
Good job, Rudy.
Alexandra Nixon.
Good job.
Raymond Plum.
Congratulations.
Jorge Rivas.
Good job.
Marlena Satcher.
Congratulations.
Jennifer Scott.
Good job.
And Ashley Skладnicki.
Tested you on the last one.
Last but not least.
Good job.
Let's all give all of our graduates another round of applause. We had a chance to have dinner with the group tonight and just share with them how much we appreciate their participation in this program. And they all talked about how they had learned things and will take it back to their neighborhoods and community to make Clearwater shine brighter than ever. So thank you for your participation in this important program. That will move to item 4.2 on the agenda, Suncoast Jazz Festival proclamation. And let's see, at this time we'll call forward Joan Dragon from the Jazz Festival, Executive Director of the Suncoast Jazz Festival. I get up here and then we'll get going. Okay. Whereas the art of creating jazz music is a uniquely American form of music that originated over 100 years ago and that has influenced and enriched not only American music and culture, but also the music and culture of the world. And whereas the Suncoast Jazz Festival is in its 34th year and brings increased attention to the city of Clearwater and its diverse and vibrant cultural arts. And whereas the Suncoast Jazz Festival continues to feature local, national, and international musicians. And whereas the mission of the Suncoast Jazz Festival and its volunteers is to contribute to the education of local young musicians to give them performance opportunities. And this year we'll host 2 master classes for local students to foster the preservation of jazz. Now therefore, I, Bruce Rector, Mayor of the City of Clearwater, Florida, on behalf of the Clearwater City Council, do hereby proclaim November 22nd through the 24th, 2024, to be Suncoast Jazz Festival Weekend in Clearwater.
I just wanted to say a few things. I'm Joan Dragon, the director, and on behalf of the board of directors and all the fans, I just want to thank the city of Clearwater for supporting us and thank the Marriott Hotel and the Sheraton Hotel. We've been partners for a long time, 34 years, bringing jazz to the community and creating opportunities for kids to play. So it's our pleasure to be here tonight, and I just want to thank you all very much.
Well, thank you for being here. Before you come up to accept your proclamation, I just want to say I've been over there a number of times. I've been over there to the festival a number of times. It's amazing the draw you have from all over for this event, and the performers and the artists that perform are just amazing. So thank you for 34 years for bringing this.
We're glad that we can bring this to the city, you know, in one place to have all this wonderful talent and to expose the kids to people that have been there and done that. It's our pleasure.
Well, thank you for the many hours all of you have donated to put it together and pull it together. It's a very important event. Yeah. And here's your proclamation.
Thank you. A lot of new faces tonight. I know, but, welcome aboard.
Yeah. You want to do a photo op?
Yeah, you want, yeah,
I think they want us.
here you go. Who wants to go? We've got it.
Makes it official. Okay, thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. For sure, yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Watch your step.
This time we'll move to item 4.3 on the agenda, State of the City Report, and call forward the city manager.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and residents of the City of Clearwater. My name is Jennifer Poirier, and I am the City Manager for the City of Clearwater. Tonight, I am proud to present to you the State of the City Address. This is my favorite presentation that I have the privilege of being able to do, where, as brief as I possibly can, I get to go over the major highlights of what our team has accomplished over the year. Tonight, we're going to review our financial health as an organization. We're going to review the accomplishments that we have made together as a team, and then after that, we will close talking about what we think the future looks like and what our priorities will be. Starting off with our financial health. As you know, the city requires minimum fund balances for all of our 15 funds. While the financial report will not be out until later this year, I'm happy to report that the review of all of our unaudited financial information forecast us to once again meet those requirements for every one of our 15 funds. This is due in great part to the careful, strategic approach to how the city has planned and implemented its operating and capital budgets. Clearwater had a balanced budget last year, which included revenues of $210 million, as well as expenses that equal $210 million. Budget details are available on our website. I want to acknowledge the hard work of our finance director and our budget director and their teams for the work that they did on this year's budget. Now, we get to go over the accomplishments that we made together as a city. What I'm about to present to you tonight is just some of our highlights, or we would be here all night long. All of our successes can be found at myclearwater.com/annual report, and you all have annual reports at the dais. All of our achievements would not be possible without the care and professionalism of our employees and this incredible workforce. I'm proud of our team, who works hard each and every day to achieve all that we have in this last fiscal year. So take a moment right now and just want to thank our employees for all of their hard work. First, we'll start at the successes that are associated with our strategic goal of being a high-performing government. Better technology allows us to improve the way that city does business. Better transparency helps us maintain the public's trust. This year, our team successfully developed 9 departmental public transparency dashboards and published them to our city website. The one you see on this slide is one that it's still an internal document. It's a work in progress, but its intention is to guide our work and reflect our strategic plan. Really proud to show that of our strategic work plan, despite of the 2 hurricanes, we're at 90% on time and completed for that work plan. So that in of itself is a major accomplishment, and again, I thank our team for that. Other dashboards that we've accomplished this year include the city housing dashboard, utility customer service, public communications, library, permitting, code compliance, HR, and budget. We also worked with our storm teams to develop a debris dashboard to share that information with the public about how much we've collected of sand, vegetation, and construction debris. You can find all of these at myclearwater.com/transparency. This effort reflects our shared commitment to enhancing efficiency across departments on an ongoing basis and will be used ongoing. Every single department has been involved in coordinating our response to Tropical Storm Debbie and to the recent hurricanes of Helene and Milton. Efforts included preparing facilities, assessing damage, communicating with residents, restoring operations, and serving our community's recovery needs. These efforts continue and will be ongoing for years. Clearwater's public safety staff and our public safety partners rescued more than 500 residents from the standard apartments. This is one of our biggest rescue efforts in Pinellas County in recent years. They're heroes in every sense of the word. More than 4 million pounds of sand washed onto city streets and storm pipes from storm surge, and efforts are underway to have it evaluated and cleaned so our beach can be restored to its bright and beautiful state. So far, we have cleaned more than 13,000 tons of sand and removed sand from over 11,000 feet of storm pipes. The city's public works team is leading this effort. They also cleared debris from roads, restored all of our traffic lights, conducted citywide damage assessments, obtained debris site permits, assisted in debris removal, coordinated the inspection of city bridges, cleaned up hundreds of trees following the storm, conducted repairs to infrastructure, and restored the city's stormwater system in areas of significant flooding. Utility crews worked hard to restore power in the city's lift stations, manage water flows before and after the storms, and restore the reclaimed water system after the storms had passed. Our parks team helped clear roads and worked hard to open the city's 109 parks as quickly as possible, since people needed to get outside and someplace to go. Human resources staff coordinated with employees who were impacted personally from the storms, and so many others contributed to help restoring our community. Other general support services teams assisted the city's buildings to make sure they were structurally sound, and our planning department development staff got to work in supporting our residents as they began the difficult and emotional rebuilding process. Communication is especially important during times of crisis, so our public communication team worked around the clock to share information our residents needed frequently and accurately in an often ever-changing environment. The Marine and Aviation Department supported our commercial tenants at the marina throughout the storm. And of course, the city's solid waste team is working hard to return Clearwater to its bright and beautiful splendor that we established before the storms. As of November 1st, solid waste crews and our debris management contractor have removed 2,500 tons of mixed debris, 11,000 tons of construction and demolition debris, and almost 18,000 tons of yard waste. Construction began this week on our marina replacement project. That alone deserves an applause. Real quick. This was approved by the council in early of the summer of 2024. Located on the beach, the marina was severely damaged by the two storms, as you all are aware, and the project continues to move forward. The facility offers a variety of commercial and residential boating activities to locals and to tourists. Clearwater is making a special effort to coordinate with the Clearwater Marine Tenant Outreach Group because we know construction will be difficult for our commercial marina tenants, and we want to support them through this transition as best as we can. We cannot wait to see this project take shape over the years ahead. Construction is expected to be completed in August of 2026. The city completed construction on and opened a new and improved Fire Station 46 on Clearwater Beach. This new facility provides fire protection and advanced life support coverage to Clearwater Barrier Islands. It's equipped with jet skis and a beach mule for beach responses, and is located at 546 Mandalay Avenue. This facility was built with resiliency in mind, and I am pleased to report that the structure on the beach did not have much damage at all, and it performed as it was intended despite being inundated with water. It's just one example of why resiliency building is so important. Residents in the Clearwater Barrier Island and other low-lying areas of the city are feeling the impacts of increased flooding due to rising seas, higher tides, and increased rainfalls. The Public Works Department successfully developed and implemented a temporary stormwater pump system along with additional stormwater improvements for the area. These efforts help to reduce flooding along the North Clearwater Barrier Island during rain events. Stormwater staff continue working with the community to help address these issues. We have also launched a project page at myclearwater.com/northbeach. Clearwater Public Utilities improved the overall efficiency of the city's wastewater collection system. Throughout the year, more than 6 miles of pipes and 175 sewer laterals were lined. The utility made 65 repairs, coated 367 manholes, and smoke tested 226 miles of pipe to keep the system operating as efficiently as possible. In addition, the department prevented approximately 14 wastewater overflows using the smart cover system. Few utilities reach such an important milestone as having celebrated and being in the community for 100 years. In May of 2024, Clearwater Gas System celebrated their 100-year anniversary. The mission of the Clearwater Gas System has always been to provide safe and reliable and affordable gas energy to its customers, and we look forward to continuing that mission for many more years to come. Clearwater Gas provides natural gas to residents of Hillsborough, Pinellas, and Pasco counties. Previous leadership directed the utility to review and analyze all of its operational areas for effectiveness and quality. As a result, the city of Clearwater went forward with selling its propane gas operation to Suburban Propane for $4.25 million, which was almost $2 million more than the business valuation was for that system. In addition, everyone kept their jobs. We reallocated those staff that worked in the propane operation and reassigned them with a gas utility. The city worked in partnership with the Juvenile Welfare Board, Clearwater for Youth, and Pinellas County Schools to teach children how to swim. The city provided a total of 3,800 water safety lessons to 839 students across 4 of Clearwater's elementary schools as part of their physical education curriculum. We're looking forward to expanding this program to add additional local schools. The city also taught hundreds of kids how to swim at the city's rec centers, offering programs for parent and child level 1 and 2 for just $10. Next, we'll look at the accomplishments that tie into the economic housing and opportunity strategic goal. The city successfully managed a year of events and programs at Coachman Park and hosted thousands of guests at our beautiful new space. The Baycare Sound manages our music venue and hosted 37 events in 2024, and more than 156,000 guests attended since our grand opening of last year. In addition, we secured a 10-year, $16 million naming rights sponsorship agreement with Baycare. Clearwater approved the First Amendment to our Ruth Eckerd Hall agreement for the venue management, and we executed an agreement with Mark and Marie to introduce monthly revenue-generating program at Coachman Park. In addition, the city was honored with awards from Crew of Tampa Bay for our Reimagining Coachman Park. The awards were in the categories of Industry Excellence in Design and Industry Excellence for Community Impact. The Economic Development Department implemented some good new programs to continue to promote Clearwater as a good place to build a business. The city hosted a luncheon and business roundtable with several partners for Tampa Bay's Wave's first Latin Accelerator. The cohort consisted of 15 Latin American growth stage businesses representing a variety of industries. The event featured a chance for us to share the details about our city's community, cultural, arts, and lifestyle amenities that make Clearwater an incredible place to grow a business. In addition, we sponsor the West Coast Certified Commercial Investment Members Monthly board meeting, which drew 50 elite commercial real estate brokers to Baycare Ballpark to hear about redevelopment and business site location opportunities in Clearwater and to view the city's conceptual US 19 redevelopment video. The city's economic development team also led the Pinellas Realtors Organization's bus tour, which provided the opportunity to showcase Clearwater's mixed use of residential, retail, and employment assets for future investment. The city partnered with Archway Partners to host a groundbreaking celebration for Clearwater Gardens. This project will transform the site of a former dilapidated inn into an 81-unit affordable apartment community. The $32 million project is funded in part by Clearwater Community Redevelopment Agency and the city's SHIP and home loans administered by the Clearwater Economic Development and Housing Department. When complete, Clearwater Gardens will be a 4-story mid-rise apartment building that consists of 1- and 2-bedroom units that provide high-quality housing to households with incomes of 30 to 80% of the area median income. And we just approved the funding to convert the Indigo to an affordable housing project as well, another exciting opportunity for our community. The library partnered with the Pinellas Education Foundation and Pinellas County Schools in Take Stock in Children. Throughout this effort, the city assisted 20 students from the Clearwater East Community Library to win scholarships for 2 prepaid years at a Florida university. This is yet another example of how our libraries are important to our community. Next, we'll look into achievements that improve our community well-being. The City of Clearwater has been working with the North Greenwood community in recent years to support the establishment of a North Greenwood Community Redevelopment Area. This designation is important because it allocates additional resources to better serve its residents. This fiscal year, the first North Greenwood Citizen Advisory Committee meeting was held, and the city launched an array of grants to support the North Greenwood community. Residential grants totaled over $400,000, and 6 applications have been approved thus far. Commercial grants totaled more than $833,000, and 1 application has been approved so far for the max of $75,000, and that goes to Yo Mama's Food in Clearwater. Investing in public art appreciation helps to build a better sense of place for our residents. Several new art installations were commissioned across the city this year. Art called Florida Fauna replaced a 25-year-old art on the Municipal Services Complex parking garage. 3 new murals were unveiled at Coachman Park, and the Wave was dedicated at Station 46 on Clearwater Beach. And finally, the city received a $30,000 grant from the National Endowment of the Arts and that was used to commission the tailing, which is shown on this slide, and is a mural painted on 2 of our water takes on State Road 580. We're getting there, I promise. Hang in there with me. We've done a lot in just 1 year. The Planning and Development Department developed and implemented Clearwater 2045, the city's new comprehensive plan, which was adopted this fiscal year. It's a policy document for our city adopted to guide decisions on Clearwater's future growth and sustainability. Teams engage with the city's utility customers by opening the city's water and wastewater plants for tours to the public for the first time in over 20 years. The utility crews hosted 3 themed open house and tour events at the city's water facilities, and about 400 members from the public attended all 3 tours combined. Next, we'll talk about how the city's enhancing its strategic goal of environmental stewardship. Last year, we worked hard to reestablish the city's recycling program, and I'm proud to say that this year we continue to make good on our word. Last fiscal year, solid waste and recycling crews collected more than 8,800 tons of single-stream recyclables from our customers and processed it through Waste Connections. The city earned revenue sharing with our recycling processor, yielding a rebate of more than $173,000 between December of 2023 and August of 2024. The city also secured a contract with West Rock in March of 2024 for recycling our old cardboard, which resulted in more than $117,000 of funds that get to go back into our recycling fund. We made progress in bringing solar energy this year. We retired a second batch of more than 10,530 renewable energy certificates through Duke Energy's Clean Energy Connection Program. This allowed for some of the city's operating electricity to be powered by solar, equivalent to about 10.5 million kilowatt hours. The Sustainability and General Support Services team selected the first municipal solar installations sites at Morningside Rec Center, General Services Complex, and Solid Waste Transfer Station, and Clearwater Gas, as shown on this slide, to be installed with $2 million of ARPA funds. Also, the city's support of Pinella's Solar Co-op program helped 28 Clearwater homes go solar, along with other co-op members. A citywide vulnerability assessment was completed with the funding from a Florida Department of Environmental Protection grant. A digital twin of Clearwater was built to identify the risk related to floods and the heat in years ahead. We are looking at that to see how it overlays with the storms just happened, and we'll be happy to do a presentation on that once we've had an opportunity to look at that. It will also generate recommendations for mitigation and adaptation. The city currently participates in the National Flood Insurance Program. We're going to be talking a lot about that as we recover from these storms, and works to make flood insurance less expensive for Clearwater residents. Last year, the city reduced its community rating system score to a 5, and that provided residents with a 25% savings on flood insurance. The city continues with its efforts to make our score even better. And last but not least, we'll see how Clearwater is working to help provide superior public service. Maintaining a diverse and premier workforce is important to ensuring our success. The city successfully implemented a formal classification and compensation study for our employees, both our former CWA union employees and for our supervisory employees. We also reported positive trends with employee vacancy rate, which is now at 7.7%, and also projected turnover rate of 9.6%. Both of those are at its lowest metric since pre-COVID in 2020. This year, we also implemented a new learning management system of My Clearwater Learn. This includes deep integration with LinkedIn Learning and offers thousands of online training for our team. In addition, the Human Resources Department researched, developed, and customized a curriculum to launch our first cohort of Clearwater Executive Leadership Academy with the goal of developing future Clearwater leaders. These days are a difficult time to be a police officer, to be a public official, and work in government as a whole, actually. But we want to make sure that our public safety teams have the tools that it needs to continue to be one of the best police forces in the country. On training, we've made several advances. We participated in multi-agency, countywide training on active assailants, and we can transition from an online legal training system to one that's produced in-house that better targets our needs and our issues. We created a more robust training program for new supervisors to ensure their success, and the police department instituted a pre-academy program for agency-sponsored cadets who are scheduled to attend the police academy. This boost in training will help better ensure cadets' success at the academy and longevity in our department. We also initiated a Teen Academy program for youth interested in learning about being a potential law enforcement officer. And in addition, we began using the Police Aid program as a recruiting tool for police officer positions, and we began offering more academy sponsorships to qualified candidates. We've produced a new recruitment video, updated our website, created new printed material, and posted to social media to attract potential candidates. The city has increased its diversity, equity, and inclusion activities events from the last fiscal year. We're involved in hosting an unclassified SAMP leadership training, a Pride breakfast. The city employees participated in the St. Pete Pride Parade. We celebrated Juneteenth with a number of community events, including a painting with a twist that many of you attended, and a Juneteenth luncheon. Staff also conducted an annual diversity poster contest, a Latin dance class for employees, and a National Hispanic Heritage Contest. The city also hosted Diversity Week, where each department participated in engagement activities to learn more about each other and what makes us unique. The city has achieved 4 awards for our wellness programs, which are designed to help keep our employees healthier and keep our medical claims down. In addition, our employees can get paid a wellness incentive for important health screenings for certain cancers through the Motivate Me program. This program has increased program payouts by more than $20,000 this year, which means our employees are taking care of their health and getting important screenings done. In addition, the Achievement Awards Committee has worked hard all year to celebrate our staff, to engage with them in ways to make sure that they feel appreciated. Those are just some of our accomplishments for last year. Where do we go from here? A lot of work lies ahead in order to help our city restore itself from 100%, and that's going to take time. Our community is strong and it is resilient, and I know we're going to get there by working together. One of our priorities in the upcoming year is going to be to reprioritize our work plan based on the impacts we felt from the current hurricanes. The CRA team is going to be launching business engagement activities, which are going to help develop a plan to evaluate our surplus properties that are going to be coming on board from the Pinellas County properties. We're also currently working together on that plan with the county. There will be a presentation at the council at our next meeting to go into that further. And a multitude of improvements are being planned for the Clearwater Air Park, many of those you've heard about already. We're going to continue to build back our beautiful Clearwater Beach Marina, and we're also going to work on our wastewater plant consolidation plan. The city's going to invest our efforts in attracting businesses to our bright and beautiful city through economic development incentives, and we will conduct citywide mobility assessment and develop plans for the South Osceola parking garage, which will support our future development on the Bluff property project. I look forward to another year of progress and success and working with some of the best employees I feel fortunate to work alongside. I want to thank, again, their employees for their dedication and hard work and their support every single day. Without them, none of what we accomplished would be possible. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank the mayor and the council for their support as well. I'm very proud of what we have accomplished. I hope you are too. And at this time, I'll take any questions.
Any questions from the council?
Thank you.
Thank you for your report.
Thank you.
Very good.
While you're here, we haven't had a meeting since Milton. I've said this over and over again so many times since outside of the meeting, but I think it's the appropriate time, rather than wait to the end of the meeting, just to collectively, on behalf of the council, want to thank city manager, assistant city manager, all of our city staff. It's I wouldn't say it's unprecedented, but it's certainly unusual to have 2 hurricanes within 2 weeks in the way our city staff, all 1,800 employees, and we've been talking about how it's not just our fantastic first responders who are out there rescuing people the night of both storms. All of our departments supported one another and pulled together behind the scenes, supporting one another. Our city has done amazing. And I can tell you, and I know the other council members have shared this with me too, I can't tell you how many citizens have reached out to compliment all of our city staff, our city manager, our entire city team on the response to these 2 disasters. So on behalf of the council, I think this is the appropriate time for us to formally thank you all for all you've done through this. And I've told several groups, 2 groups today, including the graduates of the Citizens Academy, I think we all 5 of us share this view. We were all optimistic about the future of Clearwater before these two storms came through. We are 10 times more optimistic about the future of Clearwater after seeing the way not just our staff has pulled together, but our city has pulled together and supported one another. And our best days really are ahead of us as a city. And the way we've responded to these storms certainly proves that. So thank you, City Manager. Thank you to all the staff for all you've done, not just through these two storms, but throughout the past year.
Yes, thank you.
That will move to item 5 on the agenda, approve the minutes of the October 3rd, 2024 City Council meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. This time we'll move to item 6 on the agenda, the consent agenda. Are there any items to be removed from the agenda?
Yes, Mayor, I have a request to remove items 6.1, 6.8, 6.9, 610, 611, 612, and 614.
Can you repeat that?
Sorry, 6.1, 6.8, 6.9, 6.10, 11, 6.12, and 6.14.
Why don't you just take them all off? Just a couple.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the items that are still on the consent?
Is that good enough?
That's good enough.
That's
I
good
got
enough.
it.
Okay, I make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Okay, then we will move to item 6.2 on the agenda.
6.1.
Excuse me, 6.1.
Approve an encouragement agreement between the City of Clearwater and Florida Gas Transmission Company, LLC, for a Clearwater Gas Department gas distribution pipeline to cross over Florida Gas Transmission Company pipeline facilities and authorize the appropriate officials to execute same.
Good evening. I'm Brian Langill, Executive Director of Clearwater Gas System. This item was presented to you on Monday at the work session. This is we have to install our gas line over the Florida Gas Transmission Pipeline, and this agreement is needed in order to do that, in order to run our line and serve our customers. This is up in Pasco County. It's a new road up on Sun Lake Boulevard at State Road 52. And this line will be serving the new Moffitt Cancer Center along Sun Lake near the St. Louis Parkway. Happy to answer any questions.
This time, is there anyone here from the public desiring to speak to agenda item 6.1? Okay, hearing none, is there any council discussion? If there's none, is there a motion?
Move to approve agenda item 6.1.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 6.8.
Approve a purchase order to Communications International, Vero Beach, Florida, for the maintenance and repair of the citywide two-way radio communication system and equipment in the amount of $210,912 for term October 1, 2024 through September 30, 2025, pursuant to Clearwater Code of Ordinances, Section 2.563, paren 1, paren A, single source, and authorize the appropriate officials to execute same.
Good evening, Peter Bardo, General Services Director. The item before you is a request to utilize Communications International for the maintenance and repair of citywide two-way radio system. This maintenance covers breaks, repairs, factory repairs, PM, and firmware updates. The maintenance provided by CI is recommended by the manufacturer 3L3 Harris.
This time, is there anyone from the public desires to speak to agenda item 6.8?
I'm Mr. Haluba. 6.8 is really about two-way radios. And I know that this council likes to throw money around and, you know, a couple $100,000 is like peanuts to you all. But it matters to some people. Each of these requests should list the funding source. But not only does this one not list the funding source, when you go to the PDF that's attached, you find out that approximately half of it is for the police department. Why is not, radio expense for the police department come out of the police budget instead of, an approval item from the council, a special request? I don't agree with this kind of hiding expenses and putting things in a PDF that's buried where almost nobody looks at it. And I absolutely believe that in this document, when it's printed, it should definitely say where the money's coming from, not just, we're gonna spend this money. We just heard from Ms. Poirier, there's 15 some odd accounts. List it. Citizens need to know where this money's coming from and out of what account. And as far as hiding money for the Clearwater Police, I think everybody knows how I feel about the Clearwater Police. They're unnecessary. The entire department should be shut down. Don't worry, the Sheriff's Department will take on the good officers and weed out, the bad ones, which, the Sheriff's Department's been weeding out bad Clearwater Police all year. 3 of them arrested. The police department is mismanaged by Eric Gandy, but none of you will say a word about it. I don't know what he has over you. I guess you're scared of him, but I sure am not.
Is anyone else here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 6.8? Hearing, seeing none, is there any council discussion? If there's none, is there a motion?
Move to approve agenda item 6.8.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 6.9.
Authorize purchase orders to multiple vendors for the purchase of computer parts, product, maintenance, servers, and network equipment in the cumulative not to exceed amounts of $2,400,000 for term December 1, 2024 through either the expiration of the respective contract or September 30, 2025, pursuant to Clearwater Code of Ordinances, Section 2.563, Paren 1, Paren C, piggyback, and Section 2.561, Paren 5, small purchases, and authorize the appropriate officials to execute same.
Mayor, Council Member Dan, Mayor, IT Director. This item is an approval for purchasing of already budgeted for items that were in both our CIP and our operating budget. The pre-approval allows us to be a little more responsive to emergency response or departmental requests. Dollars come from our operating budget, various operating budgets across the city, and a number of CIPs, planned projects that we've been working on for a number of years. All these contracts that we referenced were bid competitively at the state or regional level through national contract cooperatives, and I'm happy to answer any other questions anyone might have.
Does anyone here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 6.9?
I'm Mr. Haluba. Not too long ago, there was millions of dollars spent on computers and computer components and all this stuff, and here we are doing it again. This is $2.4 million for computer parts? You just buy them as is needed. This city spends more on computers and computer parts than some, mid-sized corporations. I don't understand it. There is no tie between the revenues and the money spent. It's like the money is heaven sent. There's no real accounting for it. We just need computer parts. And then, somebody, whoever writes this, puts on there, it's just small purchases. It's just small purchases. Well, it's $2.4 million worth of small purchases. It's ridiculous. And there doesn't seem to be any decent accounting of it. So this is a small part, small computer parts. But yet, when I stand here and I ask why the city of Clearwater cannot come up with $30,000 to repair the arches at Drew and Baker, you know, get sandbagged from this guy, Slaughter, who's supposed to be in charge of that. That's $30,000 for something that is a historic monument in this city, and you throw $2.4 million away on computer parts again.
Does anyone else here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 6.9? Hearing, seeing none, is there any council discussion?
Just like to point out, Director, it's not to exceed, so that meaning it's up to 2.4, but that's as you need the parts, you'll be buying them.
Absolutely. Last year, we did not exceed our number.
Thank you.
Any further council discussion? There's none, is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve item 6.9.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 6.10.
Approve an increase to existing purchase order with RDK Assets, Inc. of Tampa, Florida for solid waste and recycling truck rentals in the amount of $160,000, bringing the total not to exceed amount to $460,500 pursuant to Clearwater Code of Ordinances, Section 2.563(1)(c), piggyback, and authorize the appropriate officials to execute same.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Council, staff. Jacoby Washington, Assistant Director, Solid Waste. So on October 7, 2024, the Solid Waste Department reached out to RDK to secure rental trucks, 3 rear loaders and 3 grapple trucks. This was in response to the upcoming hurricanes, Hurricane Milton. The original purchase order with RDK was approved in 2023 for $96,500. It was later approved, additional funds were later approved in May 16, 2024 for $204,000, which gave a total cost of $300,500. Now we're asking for additional $160,000 for a total of $460,500, excuse me. So with that being said, this is for, again, for truck rentals for assisting with hurricane debris, collection removal, excuse me. Any questions?
Does anyone here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 6.10?
I'm Mr. Haluba. Once again, $160,000 like it's nothing. And what's this one for? Truck rental for the totally broken recycle program. There's nothing the city or anyone can do with these materials that are picked up to be quote-unquote recycled. Over 50%, despite what Ms. Poirier says, of what's collected in the recycle bins goes, you know, to landfill or to the incinerator. That's a failed program. It's a failed program that you people will not recognize. So how is this paid for? I sure hope it's coming out of enterprise funds. Because just raise our utilities, just raise our utility rates some more. Water went up 3%, sewer went up 3%. Stormwater, which is not even a utility, 8%. 8% increase for stormwater. It's not a utility. Reclaimed water, 3%. Most people don't even use reclaimed water. You should see the idiotic response I got from Slaughter about reclaimed water. They charge people because they can do it. And even though reclaimed water is an availability fee, I can tell you I monitor it and it's not always available. Slaughter says, that's too bad. We didn't promise that. It's terrible, it's a joke, it's a waste. Solid waste went up 3.75%. And my favorite one, recycling went up 3.75%. And then we got to rent trucks to haul a second load of garbage to the same place. Great, great city management, Ms. Poirier.
Is anyone else here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 6.10? Hearing, seeing none, is there any council discussion?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. I know we got off a little bit on a tangent on that one, but this is for 6 rental trucks to assist our community, our neighborhoods, and our residents with removing storm debris.
That is
after
correct.
what we've
That
been
is
through.
correct. So not recycle, it's to help with storm debris cleanup. That is correct.
Is there any council discussion, any further council discussion? If there's none, is there a motion?
Motion to approve agenda item 6.10.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 6.11.
Ratify and confirm a purchase order with Crowder Gulf Joint Venture, Inc. of Mobile, Alabama for Hurricane Helene debris removal in an amount of $4,146,250 pursuant to RFP 08-24.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, Kervin St. Amy, Solid Waste Director. Council, this is a ratify and confirm purchase order for, with Crowder Gulf Joint Venture from Alabama for Hurricane Helene debris removal for $4,146,250. The city manager approved the estimate under the emergency declaration. Assuming that the council ratified the confirmed purchase order, Solid Waste will return to council for a separate work order with Crowder Gulf to address removal of debris for Hurricane Milton. Any questions?
Okay. Does anyone here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 6.11?
Mr. Menino, the previous speaker, just said that money was for renting trucks for recycling. This is for debris removal, 611. $4.1 million. I'm not saying that, the debris shouldn't be removed. That's a lot of money in anybody's mind. Are these general tax funds that we're spending? Again, the same question. Since garbage pickup is a utility charged for by the city, it should be a, enterprise-funded endeavor. Now, I know that there's been some controversy regarding responsibility for debris pickup, particularly in, private hands. City of Clearwater is responsible for all debris pickup. Now, I have, yesterday, drove up and down Mandalay Avenue. It's still a mess. There is debris out there 10 feet tall that's been there for now over a month. And I guess there's some argument over, well, either FEMA will pay for it or not. But if I was you, Mr. Albritton, I'd be getting tired of driving past that to go home. The 600 block of Mandalay is still a total mess as of yesterday. But you're begging for people to come back. I was out there, I didn't see anybody. I just hope that somehow that 4.1 million comes out of the fees that we're charged for trash pickup. But again, 4.1 million, but we can't find any money to, really take care of the arches. But now, I would like to introduce to you Miss Konoff-Scott, one of my new friends.
Okay. Is anyone else here from the public desire to speak to this agenda item?
Hello, I'm Eva Kunowska. I'm the owner of the small motel on Coronado. I work all day long, every day, since 8 until 8. But I decided to come because I'm desperate. I'm getting information which are not consistent. I
Ma'am,
don't know what to say,
Ma'am,
do.
do you have comments regarding this agenda item?
Yes, I am. That's my comments
It's
about
a con-
debris.
It's about a contract to remove the debris.
Yes.
So,
So in the city, I got the information that the city is not responsible. I have to do on my own commercial property.
Yeah.
Then in the solid waste department told me that you started, or somebody started to work with the debris, North Beach and one day they will come to me. Today I have to fill out the form. So, simple question.
I'd be glad to talk with you personally after the meeting about your situation, but this meeting is for these business items. So this is about our contract with the company that's removing the debris. If you have a question or a comment about your
So it
property, I'd be
means-
glad to talk with you personally.
So it
I'll even
means
come-
I'm not contractor, so I have nothing to say.
I'll even come to your property tomorrow to talk.
You know what, you wouldn't come because both sides are closed, because everybody right now store debris and garbage and trash on my parking lot. Everybody.
I understand, but this is for this agenda item. It's about the Crowder Company.
But I
and the
see here
contract.
6.11 is all Hurricane Helena debris removal in the amount of 4 million. No, my is about 2,000 to get rid of, and the city does not have $2,000. We pay so high taxes.
Yeah. If you will give the clerk your information, I'd be glad to talk with, and if you want to stay till after the meeting, I'm glad to talk
Oh,
to you
no,
after the
I
meeting.
don't.
Or I'll come by tomorrow if I have your contact information.
No,
But now we need to keep to the
I
meeting.
just would
agenda.
like to express my frustration.
I'd love to talk with you about
6
that.
weeks,
Yeah.
nothing.
I'd love to talk with you about that
Okay.
after the meeting.
Then I call you.
Yes, yes, and if you'll give them
If
your
the secretary
information,
let
I'll
me go
reach
through.
out to you.
Let me go through.
Yeah, thank you, Jan. Anyone else here desire to speak to agenda item 6.11? If not, is there any council discussion?
No, I just want to make a comment to thank staff for the hard work that they've done in negotiating this contract that we have. We've all seen some of our surrounding municipalities as well as other counties that are all dealing with this same challenge in this contract that we have. I know they're all envious of it. So the amount is large, the task is large, but the city has done a great job of reasonably negotiating a price that they all envy. So thank you.
Any further council discussion? Is there a motion?
Move to approve agenda item 6.11.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Agenda item 6.12.
Approve the 2025 City Council meeting schedule. Council members, I was asked to take the item off consent for council to discuss. Councilmember Cotton has identified 2 conflicts, one with the March 20th meeting, and the second one with the July 17th meeting. So I'm going to let the council discuss how they want to do it. Options are you can either just have a council meeting only on those Mondays if Councilmember Cotton is available, or however the council wishes to address the matter.
Thank you, Rosemary. Yeah, so the March 20th one, I'll be in the Panhandle, and then July, I'll be in California. So those are 2 days. I don't know if we can discuss and maybe change the days in which works for everybody. Like Rosemary said, maybe a Monday.
I'd be fine for just having a council meeting on Monday without a work session.
Agreed.
Okay.
So
Thank
those,
you all very
so those
much.
2 weeks would only have two council meetings, no work sessions,
I
right?
believe the
For
July meeting didn't have
Well, the July did have so July will only have one meeting, so instead of having a work session and a council meeting on that time, it'll just be a council meeting on that Monday work session, so no work session, and the same thing with the March. So instead of having one on the 17th, it will just be, the 17th would be the council meeting,
I know it can put some strain on our staff to not have the work session and to have the two together, because we got to cram it all in. So for that month in July where we only have one meeting, I mean, we could have it a different date other than,
And that's
I would
true,
rather
too.
do that,
Yeah.
to have it, at least have that. In March, I don't care, but for July, since we're only having one meeting anyway, I'd just propose to move that date to
What's the date?
whatever doesn't
July?
conflict with
maybe the
whatever you're
previous
trying to do.
week, if that works for everybody.
What's
we
the
could
date?
do the-
So, can we do this, and I'll let the city attorney see if he's okay with this. Can we go ahead and approve the schedule as is without the July one? Let me go back and make sure I've got a meeting, because we will have to forego the council rules, because your council rules say you only have one meeting in July, and see how we can play with the schedule.
Yeah.
Okay.
Work for you?
That's fine, yeah.
Good.
Thank you all very much.
Okay. Does anyone here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 6.1?
Meeting on March 17th.
Yes.
So that's putting it on St. Patrick's Day. That's actual.
2.
1-2.
It's just about our meeting schedule. Yeah. Okay, so we will approve as amended, except for that one date, I guess? So is there a motion to do that?
Go ahead.
Make a motion to approve the agenda item as mentioned by the city clerk. Does that work?
That works.
Perfect.
Okay,
I
all
need a
those in-
second, though.
All those, yeah, we need a
Second.
second. Second by
I know.
Councilmember
I mean, we just-
Teixeira.
We just literally did it this twice.
Second by
Didn't go that
Councilmember Teixeira. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 6.14.
Mayor, thank you. This is my item. As the council is aware, this is active litigation. I know the council is very familiar with the case. Because it is active litigation, there's really no need to discuss it in public, other than just to make a general observation, which is that, number one, source of funds is pretty straightforward. My office has budget for outside counsel, stated in the agenda item. Number two, just kind of a general observation, which is that litigation is par for the course in any government entity. It's also par for the course in any employer situation of an employer of a specific size, or at least once you get up to a specific size. My experience is that we actually don't have a lot of employment litigation relative to a city of our size. I've represented enough cities, I think, to have enough of a sample size on that. I do keep an eye on this pretty closely. If we had a lot of them, I would probably need to have that conversation, but this, to me, is kind of a one-off case, so I don't really have a lot of heartburn over where we're at in that regard. There were some unusual factors, again, won't discuss it, I know the council's aware, beyond what's stated in the agenda item, but I don't have much to add beyond that.
Does anyone here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 6.14?
I'm Mr. Haluba. And Mr. Margolis, you answered my main question, which is where's the money coming from? And I appreciate that. It just kind of seems that, every time something a little difficult comes up, there's outside counsel hired. I have a little bit of a problem with that when, because there's a whole staff of attorneys that work for the city of Clearwater. If there's a staff of attorneys, and I don't know, you can answer, what, 3, 4? Then why can't they pretty much handle everything that comes along? I guess, from my perspective, if you have to hire outside counsel to take care of anything, it must be something that's, over all of y'all's head. And I don't understand that. And I understand, that we can't, talk about the case as it was, but I have a real problem with this because nowhere on this agenda, even though it references the case number that we're talking about, does it say $60,000? Why are these money requests not designated on the agenda with the source of funds? Could have easily said $60,000. The funds come from, the legal budget per Mr. Margolis. I'd be fine with that, but this is not transparent. It's hiding things. It's hiding money, and I have a problem with that. It's not open and transparent government. And all I'm saying is when these items are on here, at least tell us how much money is going to be spent, which this one does not, and what budget item it's coming from, which one of the 15 accounts. I don't think that's too much to ask.
Is anyone else here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 6.14? Hearing none, is there any council discussion?
Mayor, I
City
might actually
Attorney?
go ahead and respond to that. I had a mentor years ago who told me that it is dangerous to allow an incorrect statement to go uncorrected. So I am going to actually correct that. The agenda item as stated says that, quote, "This supplement is for $60,000, which includes approximately $21,000 for trial-related services and the remainder for post-trial motions." I don't know how it could be any more direct than that. In addition to that,
Mr. Haluba, you had, Mr. Haluba, you had your chance to speak. So. Well, you're out of order, so please refrain.
thank you, Mayor. So it is stated in the body of the item. In addition, in the body of the item, it is also stated, and I quote, "Funding for outside counsel is budgeted in the city attorney's office. Cost code is listed professional services." So it lists that my office as well as the specific line item if somebody would like to reference that. I know that Mr. Haluba has mentioned the outside counsel, I guess I'll say quandary a couple times, so I am going to respond to that because I do think that's a serious observation that deserves a response. When it comes to outsourcing versus insourcing, I know the mayor being an attorney will certainly appreciate this, and especially having experience as in-house counsel. There are really three things that we have to look at, or really three scenarios in which we're going to outsource. And this is not unique to Clearwater. It's really not even unique to public sector, because it's true for my friends who are in-house private sector as well. We're going to outsource in one of three cases. Either it's a situation where the work is highly specialized and we don't have the expertise in-house for it, nor would it be cost-effective to add that specialization in-house. Option number two, or scenario number two, would be if we have an ethical conflict. Sometimes when we have situations where individual employees get sued, we can have ethics situations as the city attorney's office, since we generally represent the city at large, and we don't want to end up in conflict with our own employees. And number three is going to be workload issues. If there is a case that's going to be very heavy in litigation, very heavy in discovery, we know there's no limit to what it can involve as far as paperwork, depositions, et cetera. I could have an in-house lawyer who's tied up for an unknown period of time on an outside counsel case, and then I have no in-house resources to do the day-to-day things. So really, those are the three things that we look at. Don't think that's unique to Clearwater. I don't think that's unique to public sector. But I do think, and I do appreciate Mr. Luba's comment in a way, because I think that because I have to bring outside counsel items specifically to the council for approval, it does create the appearance that we outsource more often than we actually do. The council does not see the vast majority of cases that we insource because those don't come to the council for approval. And so I think that as a percentage, the percentage of cases that we outsource is extremely small, but I have to admit it creates the appearance or perception that we outsource more commonly because those are the only cases that you see in public. So I do actually appreciate the comment in that regard. That's my only comment.
And for the record, we've had conversations just this past year about you gauging whether it makes financial sense for the city to take on another attorney instead of outsourcing some of this work. So
absolutely,
it's something we're evaluating all the time for cost efficiency to provide value to the taxpayer.
All the time. I mean, to give an example of that, I mean, let's say because legal work tends to be highly specialized, let's say, for example, we need tax advice, which is something that I have retained as outside counsel. If we were to add an FTE for a tax attorney, the cost would be ridiculous compared to the relatively low usage of that service. So we would probably spend 5 times or 6 times to add a lawyer there. On the other hand, there are times where I think that we may be at that place as a city where it may be time to add another lawyer to the staff. But it's not just about adding another in-house lawyer, it's about what does that lawyer do? Because lawyers, in many ways, are like doctors. You know, adding a cardiologist to your team is very different than adding a gastroenterologist or an orthopedic surgeon. And so the question is, what kind of lawyer do we want to hire, and where, to the mayor's point, is that going to be cost effective? But that's something we are continually evaluating.
Thank you for that. Okay, any further council discussion? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve agenda item 6.14.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 7.1.
Confirm the declarations of a state of emergency due to conditions surrounding Hurricane Helene and adopt Resolution 24-17.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Javon Graham, Division Chief Emergency Management, City of Clearwater. These two items before you are the declarations of emergency, local state of emergencies that were required for Hurricanes Helene and Milton also, which allowed us to adjust our procurement processes, adjust our work schedules, waive building permit fees in accordance so that we can recover and respond to the two emergencies. And with that, if you have any questions, I'm here to answer.
Does anyone here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 7.1? Hearing none, is there council discussion? If not, is there a motion?
Mayor, I'll read this, if you don't mind, for 7.1 for the resolution. This is Resolution 24-17, a resolution of the City of Clearwater, Florida, confirming declarations of a state of emergency, establishing emergency procurement procedures, establishing emergency employee work schedules, waiving certain building permit fees, providing an effective date.
Now is there a motion to approve 7?
Motion to approve agenda item 7.1.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 7.2, which you've already described. Is there anyone here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 7.2?
Mayor, I can't help myself but to come up and thank Javon and his staff for the outstanding work that he did for the city during the hurricane. Excuse me for saying that, but I couldn't help myself.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing, seeing none, would you read this resolution?
Yes, Mayor. Resolution 24-18, a resolution of the City of Clearwater, Florida, confirming declarations of a state of emergency, establishing emergency procurement procedures, establishing emergency employee work schedules, waiving certain building permit fees, providing an effective date.
Any discussion or a motion?
Move to approve agenda item 7.2.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 7.3.
Approve amendments to the Clearwater Code of Ordinances, Chapter 22, Article 2, Section 22.24, to correct the name of McKay Playfield to McKay Park, change the operating hours of McKay Park from closed between sunset to sunrise to closed between 9 p.m. and 7 a.m., and add 5 parks to be closed between sunset to sunrise: Bayshore Trail, North Betty Lane, Neighborhood Park, Lake Chautauqua Equestrian Park and Nature Preserve, McLennan Circle Park, and Rainbow Drive Park. Remove 1 park, Holt Avenue, and pass ordinance 9770-24 on first reading.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. At Monday's work session, we discussed this item relating to amending Chapter 22, Section 22.4, that relates to the opening and then closing of the parks. Unfortunately, we failed to include one of our newest parks, which was the Mercado, which is located on Cleveland Street. Matter of fact, we just dedicated it this week, so should have remembered it, but it is a new park. It's in a very unique location. Staff's recommending an amendment to this agenda item to include the Mercado in our list of parks that we regulate. The closing time would be 9 p.m. to 6 a.m., which is the same closing time that we have at Crest Lake Park, which is very near there. By doing this, it'll allow the park rules and the opening and closing times to be able to be enforced by our Clearwater Police Department. If you approve amending this item, we will make certain that the language is corrected before we do the second reading of the item. With that, I'm available to answer any questions.
Does anyone here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 7.3? No, that's their council discussion. Councilmember Teixeira.
I just have a question. Since the Mercado is so unique in the sense of its location, it's not a park, but rather a corner and it's a sort of a destination for activities. I was wondering, does the community support the 9 p.m. being that early?
Well, to be honest with you, we set these based on the community where we are. It is in a commercial area. It's unique in that
Yes.
it's not really in a residential area. I mean, there are, motels and hotels that are near there, but residents know, and we set it at 9 o'clock. So I don't have any more information on that. Most of our parks are actually sunrise to sunset. But this one, we knew that there was activity going on down there. We just needed a time and an hour, and we thought that was reasonable for this district.
Will they allow exceptions, let's say if they have events and stuff?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
For any event, it's the same way with Station Square Park, for example, that's downtown. There are opening and closing times for that as well, but when we have special events, somebody wants to rent the park, it'll be actually, it'll have our park rules there, which will allow people to actually rent the park for a birthday party or a celebration or those types of things. So I think it's going to be a very unique type of park, and we're just looking forward to programming it.
Any other council discussion? We need a reading on this one?
I will momentarily, and then also, because there is a request to make a motion, I'll go ahead and read the title of
So
the.
we need a motion.
I'll go ahead, right, I'll go ahead and read the title of the ordinance, but if council is amenable to the motion that Mr. Cater has suggested, then a council member will need to make that motion. Ordinance number 9770-24, an ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, making amendments to the Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 22, Article 2, Section, wait, is this the correct one? 9770-24? Is it? Okay. By amending Chapter 22, Article 2, Section 22.24, subsection 2, certifying consistency with the city's comprehensive plan and proper advertisement. That's why I said, like, it doesn't,
No,
it doesn't
that wouldn't
match.
be it.
That's not the title of the one that I looked at this morning.
Yeah, that's not the right.
That would not be it.
Let's see. This is what's attached.
Yeah, and that's not what I got. Is
that not what you have?
That's not the amendment that I received. It actually says the park. But that is correct. That is what's attached. So the wrong ordinance is attached to it.
What? No, I've got the one on the, I've got the one.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know why they said that at the beginning. Why is that the title?
Looks like it's the right one on the agenda that's
Yeah,
linked.
the one on the
It's
agenda is right.
It just appears that the title of the ordinance is not consistent
Oh, I
with the
see.
body,
I see.
or what the objective is of the agenda item, and that is to remove some parks and
I
add parks.
see, yeah, the heading is.
Has it? Yeah, I don't think so either, because it hasn't been advertised yet, has it?
Yeah.
Has it?
Let me see what was
Gut reaction.
Continue this one?
Yeah, I mean,
Wanna continue?
unfortunately, I hate to say that, but unfortunately, it's one thing to make a motion to amend the ordinance, which is totally fine, as Mr. Cater suggested, but because the title of the ordinance as written here does not actually align with the, with the body and with the substance, I don't know if that was a copy-paste issue, could even be from my office. If so, I'll certainly take responsibility for that, but I do think that's going to have to be continued, unfortunately.
So we want to go ahead and make a motion to amend.
If we can make a motion to continue, and then we'll just start
Continue.
over.
Well, we can't go
because
ahead
we
and
can't.
amend.
Make the motion to
Well-
continue as well as amend.
Do I have to make a motion to continue? I don't think I have to.
I think we should just continue it.
You think so?
I think so, because that's not right.
And then
Although the body is
you'll
correct.
redraft it with
I mean, that's
Mercado
up to
and
you.
Yeah.
and go from there.
I think that my suggestion here would be for a motion to postpone ordinance 9770-24 indefinitely. That way, we'll actually do a clean start with a different ordinance number for this, and there will be no confusion. When we draft the new ordinance, we'll make sure that it includes the Mercado language as well, so that I will address that issue at the same time. But I think I would feel more comfortable actually giving a new ordinance number to this instead of creating a messy record later on. So apologize for that. Don't know how that happened.
Is there a motion to postpone this item indefinitely?
I make a motion to postpone this item indefinitely. Do I have to include the 97 cent?
No.
Just, that's enough?
No.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you, I apologize for the confusion. Thank you.
No problem.
We just look forward to talking with you.
Agenda item 7.4.
Approve amendments to the Community Development Code clarifying definitions for artwork and murals applicable citywide and modifying window signage standards in downtown and pass ordinance 9791-24 on first reading.
Good evening, Lauren Matzke, Planning and Development. This ordinance is a nice and short one, I think, in terms of limited scope for a change from planning and development. So thank you for that opportunity. This stems from a council work session discussion related to downtown signage, and just for the benefit of others, the downtown zoning district has its own specific sign code that differs in numerous ways from the sign code that applies to other properties outside of the downtown district. The topic that's covered in this ordinance is related to window signage. Specifically, outside of downtown, properties are allowed up to 25% of their window area per facade to be utilized for window signage, whereas in downtown, that is limited to 10%. The reason for that at the time was because downtown allows a wider variety of signage, so ultimately, there's more signage allowed for downtown. However, through the discussion with City Council, there was consensus to align those two from a window signage perspective, so this ordinance addresses that, increasing the amount of window signage allowed in the downtown zoning district from 10% to 25%, and making other related changes to the graphics and also going ahead and moving some other language. So it's clearer up front as our businesses and other property owners read our code. The second piece relates to changes in definitions of artwork and murals. This was also part of that broader conversation at council work session in July. And it really gives us the benefit of providing that clarity for if you have a painted thing on your wall, what part would be considered commercial speech, what part is thus signage, and the rest of it is artwork. So it's kind of mixed in there. We were going pretty quickly at work session, and I wanted to give the opportunity. I have a few examples of pictures for that I think might help. These are, different than the ones that were shown in July, but as an example, in this, the commercial component, the sign, is only the Juanita's Express. Based on the changes here, that would be something that our staff would easily be able to recognize. So while presumably Juanita's Express in Texas sells tacos, the Eat More Tacos part would be part of the mural artwork. This is an example. Actually, this is one side of a wall in St. Petersburg. And actually, I saw this one years ago while on a bike mural tour in downtown. And I was talking with other planners as well as the director of St. Pete. So it was kind of a good building to say, because you can see in the artwork piece, well, the yellow component there on the right side of the screen, there's records. There's an arrow saying that the store sells records, but neither one of these would be considered signage. There was always a little bit of uncertainty and a lot more discussion needed by staff in the past. Now, the front of it, this is on the front of the building, this would be the signage. So it's clear that the store is called Planet Retro and that the logo is part of that. So when looking at the two sides, the front here, this would be signage. The side would all be mural artwork. Then another example would be from Los Angeles. And this one, it's an ice cream shop, a little bit different than the one that we had shown in that. But in this instance, the name of the ice cream shop is Melt, which you can see on the right-hand picture. So that would be the commercial speech. That would be the sign. And the rest of it, the characters holding ice cream, and even the tag for the artist that just happens to include ice cream in their name would be the artwork. And then lastly, of course, this was the one that was used at the city council presentation, we all agreed that it was really cute. And now there would be no uncertainty. This would be artwork and murals. So it came up in the state of the city, murals, artwork. This is very important to the city. And this will provide, again, I can only use clarity so many times in a presentation, but hopefully it provides that to our art community, our business owners who want to invest in this on their facilities, while continuing to provide maybe some creative signage as well. So with that, of course, as I said, the Community Development Board, was presented to them in October, and they unanimously recommended approval. And with that, I can answer any questions.
Okay. First, is there anyone here from the public desiring to speak to agenda item 7.4?
I'm Tony from the Downtown Merchants Association. I represent not only my business, but business going all the way down to the Mercado that you guys were speaking about. So this is a topic that I think the merchants are very passionate about, and I pleaded with you guys to try to get this changed, and I'm very happy with it. There's something that I would like to share something that Diana Rosario, she's the regional manager for the Nolan. So she is in charge of multiple Nolans, and she's I'll just read it out to you. I want to share some background on the challenges we face with window signage. We've encountered significant setbacks in approvals and design logistics, as covering 10% is not feasible, which has hindered our efforts to establish a visual and engaging presence in the Mercado and at the Cleveland Street Market. This resulted in little to no foot traffic. Ultimately, we've lost the vast majority of our vendors. 6 out of the 10, only 2 remain. 6 out of 10, we are actively working around address issues, but with your support and provided our discussions, we look forward to basically to seeing anything that happen. Mike Mersario I had to call Mike Mersario because during their efforts to find signage and to a lot of the people who do work were unable to help them. They were more aware of the 10%. And all their things kept on getting rejected and rejected and rejected, until finally Mike helped me solve this issue. Several discussions with not only Nolan, but with Mike. Their signage is now up, and it's beautiful, and it is really nice. I think the blending of signage and murals allows the merchants to not only present artwork to your community, but share their beliefs, their feelings, the things they're passionate about, like how I have a couple murals in my establishment. I have one that's outside, says "I believe in Clearwater," fitting my Nashville, Tennessee kind of motif, since it's a historical one in Nashville. And I have another one outside, which is like an open mic. Allowing us to advertise our business in an artistic manner, I think, brings beauty to the city. It's something where I struggled with drastically when I first came down here, and I'm just very happy to see that there's a difference. There's a huge change, and there's more flexibility with it. It's not so strict. But there is a lot of effort to inform the merchants of this stuff. A lot of merchants are hesitant because of the I want to say, almost predatory way that originally people were inspecting their signage. It is not like that anymore. And I just want to say thank you on behalf of all the merchants. Thank you for helping us change these rules to beautify our community. And the last step is just informing the merchants. And I'll do my effort, like I've promised, to be someone to go and bring information and help you guys on this journey. Well, thank you guys.
Is anyone else here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 7.4?
Mayor, Council, Bill Johnson. I think I've talked to all of you about signs over the years, and in this particular case, I'm very supportive of increasing the flexibility for signs in downtown to allow perhaps larger window signs if you don't have a sign on the front of your building. That was the recommendation of the city's streetscape, street sense consultant. That has basically been ignored along the way. That was the recommendation of the the photos that I have showed and shared with some of you. The importance is that your consideration of the downtown sign packages would be to create a vibrant, walkable downtown community. And it is important to have different flexibility for the downtown area because it's pedestrian. You want people to, you want it to be an active community with people in it. You also want the storefronts to open up to what's inside and display the merchandise that's there. And perhaps what we'd like to avoid is a static display that doesn't have the vibrancy of the downtown that I think is our goal. And I do have a summary of the history of the sign program in Clearwater that I'll share with you for your future consideration. Thank you very much.
Is anyone else here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 7.4? Hearing none, Councilmember Teixeira.
So first, I want to apologize. I should have brought this up at the work session, but we're going at a fast clip. And to be honest, I was unsure, and I felt like I needed to consult with the merchants a little bit more before I bring this up for the council. So I know I asked for clarification regarding the 25% and how it was written. One of the things that I initially felt was that the flexibility component wasn't enough. And let me elaborate. In the diagrams that we have, it's like 25% per window, right, per window pane or window space. And then after the meeting, I then contacted the rest of the list that I had of merchants, and I wanted to get their feedback. And the feedback is they want more flexibility, and especially one really expressed it so well. They said if they have, let's say, 6 window panes, but they want to use all of the space of one because it did not block what they didn't want it to block, and therefore allowing visibility for the other spaces, they want that flexibility to choose where to put it instead of 25% per rectangle or per square, whatever. And I thought that that was a valid request. And when I reviewed some of my notes from the last discussion, I thought flexibility was quite an important point. So I'm not quite sure if this is something that we would like to talk about. I know it's not a work session, but from my conversations with many of the merchants following the work session, this was definitely a priority of the merchants to have more flexibility rather than be confined per space.
I can respond to that in just a moment. I inadvertently did not highlight, but we addressed most of what you're saying, but not exactly all of it. And that would be here. Oh, let's see. There we go. Because to your point, when we were discussing this in July, there was conversation about is it per window or if the windows kind of serve as a whole. And we went back and forth and of course did not want to make it more complex by using terms like mullions and the, all the different pieces. So to address that feedback, we added this where it says where multiple windows present as one large window, the window grouping will be treated as one for the purpose of allowing it. Yeah. However, it would not mean that you could block or shield the entire window. So if it's 50, so at 50 square feet, if you had 50 square feet of a window, there's still the pieces of the code that talk about the need for transparency, et cetera, which was also part of our conversation.
Right, and so that's where the flexibility I'm asking for. So let me give you an example. There's a restaurant that receives an incredible amount of sun after 5 o'clock, and so the first 6 tables, and it increases their energy costs and all that. And so they put a perforated film that covers the whole window. You can still see through it, but it's filtered. And then their logo. I want to allow them to do that. I want that flexibility. Is that something that we're okay with, that we would get some support, you know what I mean? I'm talking about Soul Fusion. So you can still see through it, but it does exceed the requirement, or the limits.
Well, I don't want to be argumentative,
Right.
but to clarify, you can see through it from the interior to the exterior, or at night you can see in, but during the daytime, you can't really see through that portion of it. And that's kind of one of the challenges that, we were trying to get at, was they could still have some signage, but this would, to your point, not provide that exact level of flexibility, because they would not be able to go from top to bottom of that whole pane. That's, to me, that's kind of the technology that's used on buses for advertising, I think.
But if visibility is our priority, they could just put a curtain.
No, I understand.
You know what I mean? So
yes, I
my
remember
point
the
is, I actually
conversations.
want that. I want to support that. And so I need to know if the council is in support of that, giving that added flexibility.
I'll chime in. We had, we had this discussion.
Screening personally.
It might be too much for you, but not for those
Well,
merchants.
there are other ways to block the sun other
Yeah,
than
curtains.
this. And I'll let you weigh
Yeah,
in.
no, you
But-
can finish.
But for me, we're trying to accommodate these businesses by making them like the rest of the city. So we've already gone to lengths to help them achieve their goals, to make them like the rest of the city. I think at some point you're worried too much about your window signage and not enough about, and we know, we all know, and we've all had discussions here at this dais, work session and council meetings. The signage is really not the problem with getting people downtown. We've got other challenges getting people to frequent these businesses downtown and make those businesses thrive. And it has very little to do with the signage. It has to do with generating traffic and getting people down there and continuing to participate downtown. So for me, I think we're already we're making an improvement to help them. And for me, what we've already proposed and talked about is enough. But I'll let Councilmember Menino, you had something to add?
Yeah, and we talked about this at length in you're describing the exact situation we talked about, and I think it's a level of defining what is transparent and what isn't transparent, and is it semi-transparent? And at what level do we accept semi-transparent but not transparent? And I've stood at that very window at the restaurant, and I can 100% see the entire way through the restaurant to the back in day or night, from inside or out. And I agree with you. I don't find that film that's transparent, semi-transparent, whatever we call it, I don't find it tacky. I don't find it too much. It's not entire, not to identify but it's not beer. It's not, any characters like that. It's a film that gives a bit of shade, a bit of privacy, but yet still applies a level of transparency. So I am in agreement with the councilwoman on that one. In that particular case, I don't want to see, entire window stickers that cover all the windows. And I think this is where we had a bit of that disagreement on the dais, was defining what is transparent, and that is a form of transparent film. And I know our aquarium was asking for the very same thing on their transparent film that we were calling a sign, but they were saying it helps keep their waters cool. It allows for bacteria to not grow and be harmful to the animals, and to this point they weren't allowed to do that as well. And that's the very same transparent film that we're talking about downtown. So I'm with you. I'm open to having more discussions regarding what we're characterizing as that and how it's used, but I'm not for covering 100% of a window with something non-transparent.
I'll weigh in. I have not been by there during the daytime I have, walking by. I don't think I have enough to state what I feel about that one specific business. I fully understand the definitions and words matter here, right? So is it signage we're looking at here, or are we looking for some type of a film for these places to help with shading? Because if it's shading, maybe we can get some type of a clarification there. I would see with Fusion, though, again, can't really speak to it. they've got their logo on a portion of it. Maybe that counts towards the 25%. However, then with this transparent film, that's something else, right? To kind of break up the judgment. That's just coming to you raw in my just thoughts off the cuff.
I guess I'll go to Vice Mayor, but I guess my question is, aren't there other ways to create shading and screening aside from affixing a sign to your window? It would seem to me there are multiple ways you could impact, you could have curtains that drop down. I mean, there are all kinds of ways that people provide that shading without making it part of a permanent, a fixed sign to the window. That would be my question.
And to your point, there are. I know that there's those, they either roll up, affixed to the top of the ceiling, and you can just roll it down with either a chain or some type of an electric drive. So if it's shading they're looking at, I do know there's workarounds that don't necessarily have to be on the window. So it is I agree with you on that.
Vice Mayor?
Okay, so I think what we're talking about here, it's two different things. And Lauren, I wanted to ask you, is there a specific code about window, I don't want to say shading, but I understand you don't want curtains because it blocks everything out, but there's different types of glass. There's glass that's darker glass that helps keep the light out. I know there's film that you can put over windows without any signage on it that helps filter out the sun if you got a lot of sun. I mean, all that's legal, right?
Not in downtown. The downtown code originally just left the phrase, I want to say transparent, and there were questions about that, but it does talk about, I don't have the full code in front of me, so it does talk about no dark tinting or like iridescent films or things like that that would otherwise limit the ability. The idea is big open storefront windows in most areas, and it transitions and there's different windows for the residential areas, of course. So I would need to look at that further. I was glancing just to see there's not a definition of transparency. We worked with several architects when we did revisions last year. I want to say we did a lot of revisions to the downtown code. And at that time, we worked with them to discuss, because there's still some energy efficiency that creates a little bit of coloring and helps with some of that. And so that's now covered in the code. But you couldn't tint it like you could your car windows. Not that that's what's proposed. But
Okay, so it's got to be in the glass, in other words, like a solar efficient glass or...
Right. So there are some restaurants now that have very dark tinted windows. They were installed prior to the adoption of the 2018 downtown district. So, that's where those are done. But new or, major improvements would be, addressed through the changes through the code going forward. So, but like I said, in that there was a lot of back and forth with several architects who have worked on some big projects in downtown because I don't know windows.
Yeah.
So
well,
it was important to go to other people.
Here's the thing that I have struggled with, because what sounds like a great idea always has unintended consequences attached. No matter what it is, I've learned in my time that, that doesn't sound like a bad thing to do, and then all of a sudden somebody comes out with something, you go, oh my gosh, look what we've allowed, So, because people always take it that one step more, and then you're stuck saying, oh, we shouldn't have said that. I have actually I know what they're talking about because I've been there, I've seen it. It's not offensive to me, but that particular case, I don't mind, but I know if we pass an ordinance that says we can allow that, there's going to be a lot of unintended consequences. People are going to, I don't know how you define a semi-transparent film and what's not transparent enough, That to me is a hard thing to define. So, I don't know, I'm a little reluctant to change it because I think that if we do, that, to allow this one thing that seems to be very innocent, it seems to take care of what you're looking for, bringing the inside out and keeping some of the outside from coming in, that somebody will put something up that we go, oh, that's not really what we intended. So to me, I need it to be more defined, I think.
Councilmember Menino?
Well, I think most tint, and I'm not sure about this exact tint we're speaking of, has a transparency rating. I know when you put, dark tint on a car, there's ratings for how much sunlight it allows in, and it doesn't. So I'm assuming that, not knowing, being a professional in this semi-transparent tint we're discussing, I'm sure there's probably a rating scale of how they describe it. I think there's two sides to a coin, and the word unintended consequences is vitally important in this discussion. But the unintended consequences that we could lean toward, that we're asking them to play by the current code and do, means that they close blinds or close shades, and it's the very thing that we're trying not to do on having people walk by and see closed shades in a place and you can't see life, you can't see a business, but for them to help with the sun, the energy, the shade, for viewing, for their look, we're kind of pushing them down that road of closing it. And we've all walked down parts of Fort Harrison and parts of Cleveland and seen closed shades and closed curtains and how unengaging it is, and many of us have identified as unappealing. So I think those are unintended consequences as well. I think this probably deserves a bit of a deeper discussion and a dive on if we don't have definitions of what the word transparent means or semi-transparent, is finding a ways to define those, and especially in a case like this.
Well, I'm not in a hurry to change it. So, I mean, it wouldn't, if we wanted to, I agree with the Vice Mayor. I just don't want to put our staff, compliance staff, in a bad spot. And it feels like to me, to his point, that if we're not careful here, we are putting our compliance staff in a spot where they don't know exactly, where there's a fine line and people are trying to take advantage of that. So I would prefer to do it right if we can, if we need to look at it further and do some analysis, but.
I'm okay with
further
that.
Thoughts, yeah.
But I just want to confirm a couple of things. So one of the things, and as a business owner, I know this, these perforated films are actually part of a signage option. What attracts a business owner is that it's very inexpensive, it's very efficient, you don't block the view, and you do have mood. So it's not just a film, like a transparent film you put over it. It is actually an option for signage. But when I'm asked difficult questions and I don't know how to respond, I do want us to have that discussion. And so when I hear, so I'm not allowed this perforated film, but across the street it could be completely blocked in white. How is that so? If that's a safety concern, and so these are tough questions that are asked to me, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know how to respond to that. So a perforated black film that you can see through is not acceptable, but a completely whited out window is okay. And I think I think we owe it to the citizens and to the business owners to answer that response, right? Across the street is completely whited out with a little picture of whatever historical picture it is of Clearwater. Their question to me is, if it's safety, we can't see through that building, and it's been like that for years. And so, I don't want to just say, well, it is what it is. That's how we've always done it. I want to give a well-thought-out response. And so I think it's worthy of that conversation. If you want to table it because of staff timing, that's fine. But I know that I've been asked this for a long time, and I don't want to keep pushing that rock down the hill and not answer what I'm being questioned.
Councilmember Cotton?
Yeah, so I would agree with the Vice Mayor and Mayor on this. I'm in no rush to try and pass something. I'd like to make sure that you guys understand what exactly it is we're looking for. Perforated window decals, that's the term. Again, I think that, you go to any other restaurant that has a glare with windows that have it during sunset. A lot of them do have just a retractable shade, which I get. It's something that you don't want there the whole time, but at least it takes care of the sunset hours, keeps the heat out, allows patrons to still be in there, and then as soon as the sun's down, boom, you just roll them back up again. So I don't really necessarily see the problem with where we're at and what's been presented, and for businesses to be able to operate like that. You still have the best of both worlds. It's an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then you're back up and have your wonderful business showing again. But yeah, the perforated window decals, so I'm in no rush either to just push something down, but I also don't want to take up a whole lot of time. But perforated window decals, it seems like that's where we're headed in more clarification.
If I may, and again, this is probably something I could have made a little clearer at the front. After the July meeting, we had some initial conversations, and because there was at least consistency on these two items, more like the 25% and the murals were relatively easy to address, we expedited that to get that to you. But I want to say, like, it wasn't our intention to be one and done. It's just that, to your point, there's a lot more discussion because it's not necessarily just the perforated window treatment, it's the construction, shading, it's, you know, many other things that would take more time. So we didn't want to hold up an easy piece, in our mind, relatively easy piece. We wanted to get that front, so we kind of, like I said, we expedited the schedule, which is how we were able to get here today. So, you know, we did hear a lot of the other conversation, and it just required a little digging. Some of those conversations were started and then placed on hold due to other issues that are, some are coming forward to you soon, and other things are like storms. So it may have come across as we only picked things that we liked, and that wasn't the case. So I hope that clarifies a little bit of that. There's work to be done in downtown, and there's ideas that are floated around with staff, and it's just how can we get them to you? Do we hold them until we have everything perfect?
Right.
Or do we bring you some
Right.
things to start and keep moving forward?
Yeah.
And I think y'all are a move forward kind of group, so. Just,
Well,
sorry.
I mean, that was the thing, it's like,
Yes, ma'am.
do I just accept this and recircle back again, or do I try to have that conversation? Because I understand what you just said right now, it's perfect. You pick the easy pickings, you know, we're moving forward at a nice pace, and you didn't want to get inundated with such convoluted, topics, not topics, but you know what I mean? So I appreciate that. I just also felt like, do I table this again, or do I bring it up, so, understood.
No, I could see where you maybe didn't feel heard from, what we brought forward versus there was a lot more conversation there and things to dig into. And yes, there are numbers that tie to tenting and all of that, which I actually do have pages on from prior research. But I think there's challenges that I'd like to work with legal on, like what can we do, what can't we do, and maybe address it in kind of bite-sized chunks. So it's not 2 years later you get it. So, thank you for the extra time.
Okay. I guess we need to go ahead and do a reading.
Mayor, this is ordinance number 9791-24, an ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, making amendments to the Community Development Code by amending Article 8, Definitions and Rules of Construction, Section 8-102, Definitions, by amending Appendix C, Downtown District and Development Standards, Division 7, Sign Standards, certifying consistency with the city's comprehensive plan and proper advertisement, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Yes, motion to approve agenda item 7.4.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 7.5 is to be continued. Do we need a motion to officially continue?
That's fine.
Thank you. 8.1.
Mayor, 8.1 is a second reading, so this is ordinance number 9742-24, an ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, vacating a 10-foot alley portion abutting the west lot line of Lot 7 and Block F of the corrected plat of Clearwater Improvement Co. Plaza Park Addition, according to the map or plat thereof, as recorded in Plat Book 5, page 53 of the Public Records of Hillsborough County, Florida, of which Pinellas was formerly a part, providing an effective date.
Does anyone here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 8.1? Okay. Is there any council discussion on this one? If not, can we get another reading, or a reading? Or have you already read it?
I have read it, but a motion will need to be made.
Okay.
I move to approve agenda item 8.1.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 9.1.
Evening, Mayor, council members, Marcus Williamson, Public Works Director. On the North Beach, the first thing I did want to do is thank the residents and public communications. So there was definitely a very different approach to a lot of the debris that was out there post-hurricane. We saw a lot of the residents, as more of that was coming out, they were keeping it off of the storm inlets, which really helps be able to open that up. I think that was public communications getting good messages out and the residents actually trying to help with the issue. So we definitely appreciated that. We have gone through, we've cleaned all of the pipes out there on North Beach. So obviously a lot of debris, sand had gone in that. The back trucks have gone through all of that, cleaned all those pipes. The street sweepers have been out there running. Obviously, as the debris gets regenerated, we've increased our street sweeping out there. So we'll just continue running those street sweepers more frequent as some of that's getting up. And that's not just on North Beach. We're doing that kind of across the city. So as those goes on, we put some of our sweepers on a little bit more of the overtime, trying to get them out to get some of this debris up. The pumps have been put back out. We're back on the maintenance schedule, so they're out there, they're started, they're tested, so that's good. We had replaced them, so they're different pumps that are out there now. So these were 4 of the permanent ones that we had procured, so those are out now. We have cleaned inlets as we're going through. So again, the crews were out there before. The concern with this hurricane, if it had come our way, we wanted to make sure we were set. So they went out and pre-cleaned a bunch of those. On a good side, so we did have the design presentations for the larger project. With that, we asked them to kind of take a blank canvas approach, and we said, you know, what can you do from a design performance improvement standpoint? What can you do from a cost savings standpoint? Throw out some different ideas. So all 3 firms came in, did a pretty good job. 2 kind of stood out a little bit more than the third. And we were able to drill into it a little bit. So we selected one of them. We'll go through, get some additional pricing, and then looking probably in January, we'll bring that one forward because we'll go back and forth just to make sure we're getting the best pricing from them. With that, the permanent pump stations that are out, we've also been working with them, trying to look at, are there options as we've gained that knowledge that we can still achieve the same performance, maybe doing it a little bit smarter with some interconnecting, reducing down some of the number of pump stations that's out there, and like sizing them, so from a long-term maintenance and reliability standpoint, they're more uniform and just easier to do. So we've been doing a little bit of that analysis, again, with some of the goal of, can we keep that same performance, but maybe do it a little bit more cost-effective standpoint. So feels like we're getting some good movement on some good creative ideas between these 2 design efforts that I think will ultimately give us a much better design out there.
Okay. Questions from the council? Or? No? Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. City manager, have other things to report?
Just one thing I wanted to ask and see if this is something that the council wants us to continue to do in terms of having at every council meeting this stay on the agenda.
Yeah, I would.
I think so. You know, as you were speaking.
Sorry, Marcus.
I think so for the time being. As you were speaking, though, I think that many of the homes that were impacted by the flooding that we were having for the heavy rains, because of the drainage issue, they're now unoccupied because folks have been forced out of their homes. So it's probably not short-term. Of course, we're getting out of the rainy season. That said, I think it's, it's still good to come back and tell us what's going on there, because but when you started the report, I was thinking about too, what as you addressed the long-range plan. I know that's still an item of conversation out there.
Is there a possibility that we could move this under presentations instead of city manager items, so that way he can go to the beginning of the meeting instead of the end?
Well, I feel like he really enjoys standing.
I'm sure he does.
I watch when certain residents are coming up, speaking, and he looks like he's enjoying it.
It's like a closing act.
I think we can move it.
Oh, good.
Okay. And then the only other thing that I wanted to say is, since our last meeting, we've had a couple of birthdays, and so wanted to take the opportunity to wish the mayor a happy birthday.
Oh. Happy birthday.
Also, we had Councilmember Techeda's birthday.
Happy birthday.
And
Happy
then
birthday.
tomorrow, we have Councilmember Menino's birthday. So it's a birthday kind of time, and so just wanted to wish you all.
Is it the big 5-0?
Happy birthday.
And happy anniversary.
Yes.
And if you need someone sometimes, even if you need someone to sing happy birthday for you sometime, I heard and saw a tape of the city manager is very good at singing.
For a second, I thought you were going to.
I know.
No.
I don't know, I've heard Ryan and Jenny at karaoke, and they kill it. So
They do.
they are great.
Jenny.
Thank you for those.
No problem. That's everything. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item 10, city attorney.
Mayor, the only thing I have is just to not let me forget that tonight was on consent approved under 6.6, the lease for 1255 Cleveland Street. We have the original here that's executed. We do need to get that back to our future landlord right away, so we have the original here for signatures.
Okay, I'll sign it. Okay, with that, move to item 11, closing comments by council members. Councilmember Cotton?
Yes, sir, thank you. I don't want to sound like a resounding gong, however, I do want to say thank you to all of our staff, all of our employees through the storm, and even to this point and up to the next 90 days. I know that we still have people out there working hard and diligently, and it's very appreciative from me, my family, to residents, as the mayor and other council members have alluded to, the thanks that go out to all the hard work that each department and division is doing. So thank you all very much. To the city manager, during your presentation, you brought up those water safety lessons. When I went out after Helene to the insurance village, I actually got to see the swimming lessons happening, and that is a phenomenal program. And if we can get more kids in there, that's literally saving lives, 100%, without a shadow of a doubt. It's saving lives by teaching these kids how to swim at an early age. So that is something that no matter, it needs to continue to happen, and if we can expand it, it's great. And I was able to meet all the staff out there that do it, and it's countless number of people that put it together, and you can see they're enjoying every minute of it. So if you haven't been able to be out there at the Long Center yet to see that, it's incredible. It really is. And I know the kids enjoy it. So thank you to our staff that put that on as well, and I look forward to hopefully expanding that, as you stated, to other schools.
It's our goal.
It's emergency chair.
So I want to echo Councilmember Cotton as well as Mayor Rector, who I have heard so many times talking quite passionately about how the staff has been great and everything that we've been going through in the hurricane. So I just want to echo that and say a heartfelt thanks. I do want to, however, add to that. One of the things I've noticed is, and I'm quite proud of the staff for this, is how they are transitioning. So I've seen staff transition from emergency to recovery and now resuming to normalcy, and it's being done concurrently. And that's just amazing, the amount of commitment and really, like, it's just amazing to see. We are on our way to resuming normalcy. We have had started a lot of initiatives looking towards a strong future. We're exploring options to better utilize the library, resuming previously planned events, implementing hurricane relief grants, progressing with the bluff development, construction starting at the Marina project, amending and clarifying the CDC code for signage, we're still at the 90% accomplishment for, as the city manager so proudly, and I'm so proud to see that we're 90% completion rate, that's great. This is still, despite 2 hurricanes, this is still being accomplished, and I need to thank the staff for doing that. I know that the mayor at the last work session was mentioning writing a letter for the property owners, sort of giving out the hand to just see what's going on and coordinating. And I would love to participate in that letter as well, because I think it's important that we do that. I do believe that Clearwater will be brighter and more beautiful. The mayor and I went on Morning Blend this week, and that's the message that we gave out. He spoke quite passionately about how great Clearwater has come together as a community, our first responders and our staff. And we talked about returning to normalcy, and we featured 2 upcoming events. The first is the CMA, which is the Chinese Lantern evening show, which is after hours, quite beautiful. It's just dazzling. That's something I would love for everyone to go see. It's Wednesday through Saturday, all through Sunday. And also the Veterans Festival, November 9th, along with Market Marie in conjunction at the same time with 150 vendors, Battle of the Bands. But really important, there's going to be on-site applications for veterans who have suffered from the hurricanes. So these are 2 events that to me show that we're going back and we're going to come back stronger. So with all that said, I think that we have a bright future, and I think we have the team to do it.
Thank you. Councilmember Menino? No, Vice Mayor, he gets to go next to
All
line.
right. Thank you. Yeah, just our team is amazing, and I know it's been said everywhere we go how appreciative we are as a group to be a part of such an amazing staff, and it starts from the top and goes through the entire 1,800 member organization, so I'm greatly appreciative. I wanted to wish Mary Helen and David a happy anniversary. Congratulations. I know we share an anniversary date together. That's exciting. So happy anniversary. Sorry she's out with friends for dinner, but I'm sure you'll enjoy the evening. I wanted to thank staff for a beautiful breakfast this morning to recognize our veterans on our staff. I know the mayor and I sat there and had bagels and chatted with a lot of staff, and I think it was probably 3 different runs to the grocery store to buy more food. Yes, and it was nonstop, and that was great to see. I was surprised to hear that was our first one. I hope we make that an annual thing, because it's very well deserving. I do want to say, and I know we all feel the same way, a big thank you and send a heartfelt love to all of our veterans in our entire community, especially this week. They're on our hearts and minds every day of every year, but especially this week, identifying their service and sacrifice and thanking them for giving us the ability to be free in this country means so much to all of us. So thank you to all those men and women.
Good words. Vice Mayor?
Well, you kind of stole my little speech there, but I showed up early at the Veterans Day thing this morning, and I was blown away by all the employees that came in and participated in that. There were garbage trucks all the way around the block, and everybody was having a good time, and I went around and thanked all of them for their service, not only to the city but to their country. A lot of vets there, and my heart goes out to all the vets this week as well. But yeah, let's do that every year. I think that was a really successful, a nice thing that the city did. The only other thing I wanted to mention was PSTA is having a 40th anniversary celebration tomorrow. It's not in Clearwater, it's down at St. Pete at the Trail Garden, 834th Street South, but from 4 to 7 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. If anybody wants to attend, it'll be a nice event, but celebrating 40 years of service from PSTA. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. That will move to item 12, closing comments by Mayor. Just a couple things. He got to go next to last, so you all covered most of what he wanted to say. You've covered most of what I wanted to say, but I did want to point out a couple of things coming up. One is the big cleanup. And kickoff is tomorrow morning, so we'll be having a press conference. Big cleanup is an annual event here in Clearwater. We just look to all pitch in and help out, and many volunteer groups get together to schedule a time to clean up not just Clearwater Beach, but clean up the entire city. And certainly, we have a lot to be cleaned up now. Our city employees have done an amazing job of getting rid of the piles, but there's still a lot that needs to be put into piles and put into bags, picked up on streets and sidewalks, not just on Clearwater Beach, but in every neighborhood, every street throughout Clearwater. So this is a great opportunity, not just for groups to organize to do it, but it's a great opportunity for citizens just to grab a trash bag and on your evening walk to pick up a few things while you're out walking your neighborhood. If we all pitch in and we all pick up a little bit, this city will look brighter and more beautiful than ever, faster. So I encourage everyone to participate in the big cleanup, which will be running over the next week, and certainly to be attentive to what little you can do in your own neighborhood, wherever you're at, to help us clean up our city. And then the second thing is to add to what's already been said about veterans. Several years ago, I was in some presentation, I forget where it was at, but they said at the time that there were 100,000 veterans just in Pinellas County alone. So that's about 1 out of every 10 people. So veterans are not just an important part of our community, they're a very large part of our community. And I always enjoy time I get to spend. We spent some time with some veterans this morning and speaking with one vet to talk about his experience serving in the United States Navy. My grandfather served in the United States Navy, and he in World War II, and he talked about supervisor he had with the Navy too, who had that same experience, and just connecting and hearing their stories, but really celebrating years after many of them have served. Their service to our country is just always an enjoyable moment for me. So I encourage all citizens of Clearwater to look for those veterans in your neighborhood, that you can share a conversation with and support, and recognize them for their service to our country. That'll make our community stronger and more vibrant. And then the other event that's happening this weekend, somewhat to celebrate Veterans Day weekend, but Sunday night the Florida Orchestra is performing a free concert in the Bay Care Sound, and we hope that many veterans will and their families will enjoy that event too. There's no cost to it, but they'll be performing on Sunday night, and so hope to see many in the community out to enjoy not only our fantastic amphitheater, but also to enjoy music and also to honor our veterans. So lots going on this weekend, and we hope to see many residents out celebrating and honoring our veterans as part of it. So with that, if there's nothing else to come before the City Council, we will adjourn the November 7, 2024 meeting.